Hi, this is Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates, and I'm going to be speaking on the topic 20 characteristics of adult children of alcoholics. As those of you who follow our channel, you'll know that my partner Jerry Wise has made many videos on the topic of adult children of alcoholics, and I have not. And the reason for that was, I guess I looked at it more globally, that if one grows up in a dysfunctional family and has the erratic behavior of unhealthy parents, that even if they're not alcoholics, that they certainly have many of the characteristics of alcoholics. So, however, I did some research, and I came up with a quote from the leader of the adult children of alcoholics movement, if you will, the writer Janet Woititz, who wrote Adult Children of Alcoholics many years ago. And this is what she had to say. She said, "Adult Children of Alcoholics was originally published with only the children of alcoholics in mind. But since its first publication, we've learned that the material discusses and applies to other types of dysfunctional families as well. If you did not grow up with alcoholism, but lived, for example, with other compulsive behaviors such as gambling, drug abuse, overeating, or you experienced chronic illness or profound religious attitudes, or were adopted or lived in foster care or other potentially dysfunctional systems, you may find that you identify a great deal with the characteristics described here. It appears that much of what is true for children of alcoholics is also true for others, and that this understanding can help reduce the isolation of countless persons who also thought they were different because of their life experience." So Janet Woititz, lets me in the club. I wanted to be in the club too. My parents were not alcoholics. My dad was a gambler, and he was an addictive bridge player. And he had addictions such as watching movies, watching TV, reading the paper, and eating. Those were all things that occupied him and really kept him from being present or with his family, even when he was with his family. And then my mother was a food addict and a spender and a rager. And that's how I was impacted. But as we go through these 20 characteristics, you'll see that whether it's an alcoholic family or not, some of the characteristics also apply to other dysfunctions. My mother was diabetic, so there was this constant chaos and, police or ambulances coming, and like you might get in an alcoholic family. So what I did was, Janet Woititz had 13 characteristics of alcoholics, and I added 7 to make 20 because I just thought there was a whole lot more. I'm going to start with comments on her 7, or her 13, and then I'm going to finish with my 7. So, number 1, adult children of alcoholics guess at what normal behavior is. My best friend is a fella who didn't know what it was, but he was gay as he was growing up, and he didn't have anybody to talk to, and it wasn't safe to talk. It wasn't safe to be himself. So he guessed his way through his adolescence, and it was awkward. He really didn't know how to be a teenager. He didn't know how to date. And now in his 50s, he tells me, "I'm learning how to date now." So that's real common if you grow up in a highly dysfunctional family, is there's nobody present to mentor you and to guide you. You're guessing. You are guessing. Adult children of alcoholics have difficulty following a project through from beginning and end. When you grow up with a lot of chaos, then you tend to replicate that chaos in your own life. And you may have all the intentions in the world of completing a project, but this thing's going on over here, and this thing's going on over here, and this thing. You're putting out a lot of fires, and it's hard to stay really, really focused to achieve your goals. Number 3, adult children of alcoholics lie when it would be just as easy to tell the truth. This speaks to safety. When you grow up with an alcoholic and a raging alcoholic or just an inconsistent alcoholic, it's not a safe environment. I read a book once, and the gist of it is why kids lie. And what it came down to is when kids feel safe, they're going to tell the truth every time. But if they don't feel safe, they're going to lie every time. They got cookie crumbs on their chins, and Mama says, "Who ate the cookies?" Well, Mama, it wasn't me, because they don't feel safe with Mama. Mama's got a rage problem. Adult children of alcoholics judge themselves without mercy. I just finished my book on shame, healing toxic shame through recovery, and it's at the editor, and I'm collecting photos to go in the digital downloadable version, and that's what this is talking about. It's talking about shame, judging themselves without mercy. And that's one of the joyful things that I get to do as a therapist, is I get to sit with people and tell them, no, the voice that you're using on yourself is way, way, way too mean. You're not, a so-and-so, this is why you're doing it. So try to be more gracious and kind and forgiving with yourself. Number 5, children of alcoholics have difficulty having fun. You grow up, life's serious. There's not enough money to get bread and milk. You're having a paper route so that you can have enough to eat. And that's the foundation of your life. I have some clients who are very wealthy and retired, and they live a whole different way of living than what I do, or what most people do. Most of us have to work really hard, but if you're balanced, you can play hard and you can work hard. And we, adult children of alcoholics or dysfunctional families, we tend to be a serious bunch, and I'll get to in a little bit, people that aren't so serious at all. They're underly serious. Number 6, adult children of alcoholics take themselves very seriously. And that's one that goes along with the not having fun, is you didn't get to be a kid. The job of a kid is to play, so that when we get to be old, we still know how to play. We know how to go to concerts, and we know how to make friends, and we know how to go on vacation. But when you're busy taking care of your parents when you're 10, in my case, I was basically the parent of a baby, my little sister, when I was 10. Life gets pretty serious. And one of the challenges for our recovery process is to learn how to lighten up a little bit and have some fun. Number 7, adult children of alcoholics have difficulty with intimate relationships. I want to say, duh. And this is one I'll expound on. When you're wounded as a child, those who've watched my videos know this, we tuck that away behind psychological defenses, and then it sits dormant throughout our childhood and into really, many times we get a break in our 20s where our issues are sort of lying dormant and on into our 30s. But in our 30s, many times we wake up and we realize that cool dude that we married or that cool chick that we married in our 20s, yeah, they're drinking. They're an alcoholic just the way dad was or mom was. Who knew? You knew. You didn't know it up here. You knew it in your heart. You had a radar system to where you knew who they were going to be. I'm serious. That's exactly true. Same thing as if they're ragers, controllers, liars, ball droppers. However you were wounded, you're going to marry it. So, yeah, that causes just a little teensy tiny problem with intimate relationships. One, you don't have the tools to be really very intimate or vulnerable or non-reactive. And two, you marry the devil. You marry your worst nightmare. You marry a hidden, very cleverly hidden version of the people who hurt you the most. That's what love is. Adult children of alcoholics overreact to changes over which they have no control. Amen to that. My significant other, she didn't grow up with alcoholics, but she, if she's with me, she obviously grew up in a really dysfunctional family. And if there's a last second change of plans, girlfriend gets quite goofy. She gets reactive. She really is in a lot of pain over it, and it's nobody's fault. That's life. Plans change at the last minute. But she really doesn't like it, and she takes it sort of personally because of the instability and the lack of power that she had in her family growing up. Number 9, adult children of alcoholics constantly seek approval and affirmation. We didn't get enough unconditional love growing up. Many times the main source or the richest source for unconditional love was the family dog. That's true. And so you grow up just thirsting and hungering for approval and affirmation because you just didn't get enough, and that fuels a lot of the workaholism and a lot of the relationship addiction because you want to be loved in one way or another. Number 10, adult children of alcoholics usually feel that they're different from other people. And that's part of the message that I want to give to you adult children of alcoholics is you're probably not very different. We're all dysfunctional. We're all some form